criminal penalties for repeat offenders, human trafficking, Utah's E-Verify system, English language learners, Utah's criminal detention capacity, a host of issues, of course, related to public safety in the southern border crisis. Legislators are actively working on a package of bills that we are discussing now with Representative Lisenby. Representative Lisenby, you were joined at this press conference by Utah Commissioner of Public Safety Jess Anderson, an appointee of Governor Spencer Cox. Is it safe to assume that Governor Cox supports this package of legislation?
We have been all along hand in hand working with not only the Cox administration, but with partners in local government and our local law enforcement and our sheriffs across the state to make sure that we're addressing the needs in the communities that they serve and that we serve. And so I can't speak for the governor, but certainly Commissioner Anderson's comments were very supportive to this package of bills and to addressing the criminal justice element in our state.
And it seems like there were several legislators that were also involved in that process with you. So I would, similar to the governor's office, does that mean that there's pretty wide support throughout the legislature itself for this package?
I think I can speak for the House side, at least, that there's a lot of support on the House side to pass this package of bills. And the Senate certainly has worked with us hand in hand, but I think I wouldn't want to speak for them, and probably their leadership would have something to say. So.
Yeah, and not to repeat a question Aaron asked you earlier, but perhaps I can rephrase it, Representative. We know, of course, that dealing with public safety and the crisis on our southern border is a top priority for the incoming Donald Trump administration, also a priority of the Republican-held Congress, both the House and Senate there. Does that help the conversation or help the process of passing these bills here in the state of Utah, knowing that you potentially have that kind of political support in Washington?
I do think it's interesting. Deseret News did a poll, and Scott Rasmussen nationally did a poll as well on this. And in the Deseret News poll, 86% of Utahns support this type of legislation that is directed to the criminal element in our communities. And nationally, that also aligns across both parties. The vast majority are supportive of this type of legislation. The Trump administration certainly has led out on trying to make sure that our southern border is secure, and that's important because hopefully as we work to address those who are here who are committing crimes, we won't see the continual influx of those who have been either deported for previous crimes, as Commissioner Anderson spoke about. We've had multiple traffickers, drug traffickers who have brought drugs here, been deported, and come back multiple times.
Yeah, that's a great point. One of the concerns I've heard is, from victims and victims' families is if you deport these individuals who are currently incarcerated for these kind of crimes here in Utah, do we lose control, right, over them, and do they become a persistent threat again? So a lot to talk about. The conversation, of course, will continue. House Majority Whip, Representative Carrie-Ann Lisenby, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us. We look forward to having you back very soon and throughout the session to keep us updated on these bills.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Coming up after the break, let's continue this conversation about what we can expect to see happen in the legislative session when it comes to immigration, the border crisis, all of these issues. We'll continue that coming up next.
If you're struggling with missing or broken teeth or painful dentures, you're not alone. Countless people face these challenges, but you don't have to suffer any longer. It's time to rediscover the confidence of a full, healthy smile with Stubbs Dental Implant Center, Utah's best of state winner. At Stubbs Dental, they understand how your missing teeth can hold you back in your career, social life, even in love. But it doesn't have to be that way. Their team of experts transforms lives with dental implants one smile at a time. Imagine what a new smile could do for you. Thousands have turned to Stubbs Dental for dental implants, gaining more than just teeth. They've regained their self-confidence. And the best part? Finding out if you're eligible for dental implants is easy. Visit StubbsDental.com. And in just 60 seconds, you could be on your way to a life-changing smile. Don't wait any longer to take the first step towards the life you deserve. Visit StubbsDental.com, StubbsDental.com today.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 13 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and Nevada, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, or other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 90 days from a station contest or event are not eligible. Full general contest rules are available at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now it's our lowest price of the season on our top-selling i8 smart bed. Your best savings, plus free home delivery with an adjustable base. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for University Housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
How does a soccer club born in an unlikely place,
Utah? You sure you want to do that in Utah?
built with players no one else wanted,
We knew no one believed in us.
reach the league's highest heights?
We finally did it. It was like just this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain.
Russell has made a champion out of Real Salt Lake.
How does that same team find a way to shatter expectations in the midst of a fight for its own survival?
Our club is burning to the ground as we speak.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and in a new podcast, Making of a Moment, the RSL story, we take a closer look at one of those iconic sports moments.
Soccer is a crazy game, and we saw it firsthand tonight.
And unravel how knowing the truth of these moments can transform what they mean.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now. Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Inside Sources. This is Erin Ryder here with Taylor Morgan. We are continuing our special half-hour coverage of immigration and deportations, border security, basically. This is going to be a hot topic this year, that's for sure. So let's talk a little bit. Last segment, we interviewed Majority Whip Representative Carrie Ann Lisenby in the Utah House of Representatives about the legislative press conference they just held, announcing some legislation they're looking to put, enact this year. So
okay,
talk to us, Taylor.
Can I pump the brakes on the conversation right here?
I want to know what you thought.
Well, let's just really appreciated House Majority Whip Carrie Ann Lisenby joining the show, talking us through this package of legislation. Aaron, we are looking at some documents that we have received that were posted online on X. There was a great flyer that was passed out, great in terms of being informative, is what I mean. It passed out at the press conference at the Capitol earlier today, highlighting a lot of issues dealing with public safety and the southern border crisis that legislators hope to address this session. Just to go through this list, they want to pass legislation dealing with fentanyl, with organized crime, with repeat offenders, enhancing criminal penalties, dealing with human trafficking, dealing with unlicensed drivers. Also, Utah's E-Verify system, they want to enhance that. Dealing with property rights. We heard Representative Lisenby talk about issues with squatters, with property rights. Aaron, you asked a great question about English language learners. This is an issue. Also, foreign wire transfer fee and Utah's detention capacity. So, Aaron, this is the kitchen sink approach
It
to
really
dealing
is.
with immigration and the southern border crisis.
Yeah.
I want to point out something that really has stood out to me. The last interim meetings, now listeners, not to get too in the weeds here, I don't want to go too nerdy in this conversation and lose all of you. I don't want you to change the channel here, so I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds and process. But the interim work of the Utah legislature, that happens from spring to fall when a lot of the substance of the bills that ultimately pass during the 45-day regular general session that goes from January to March, a lot of those bills, they actually happen to get worked on. Decisions are made, debates are settled during the interim. Okay? The last interim meeting was held in mid-November. Aaron, the legislative session starts 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly cannot recall the last time I saw a group of Utah lawmakers come out like this weeks before the general session, hold a press event, and announce a package of bills like this.
So tell us what you think that means. Why is that significant?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I'm not saying that it is necessarily entirely politically motivated. However, I do think it clearly sends an important signal, and that signal is that the Utah legislature is very serious about dealing with the southern border crisis in every way that they can legally and constitutionally here in the state of Utah. Of course, our border is a federal problem.
Yeah, there are limits to that.
There's only so much that they can do. But honestly, Aaron, if I had to sit down and come up with a list of every possible way the Utah legislature could do their part, so to speak, in terms of dealing with the crisis, this would be that list. They are going after everything when it comes to playing their part, so to speak, when it comes to the southern border crisis.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see more details about these laws as we get closer and into the legislative session, because these are topics that have been talked about for a while now. Fentanyl, the fentanyl crisis is a big issue. Enhancing criminal penalties, I think that's an interesting one. Even this concept of English language learners, the idea here is that there are certain schools in the state, particularly here in Salt Lake County, that have seen a higher than normal or higher than average percentage of students enrolling at the last minute who are learning English as a second language, and it puts a strain on those schools.
Yeah.
So they're trying to allocate funds to help those schools in those instances. Some of these things are really kind of interesting and have been talked about for a while. And so I think you're right. I think they're very serious about this and really want to go after this because it's not just the legislature who's talking about it. There are a lot of people in the community who are looking at it too.
Yeah. Voters in November, or I should say correctly, in the 2024 general election, Utah voters throughout America were very, very clear, I believe, in their mandate to the White House, to Congress, and to elected officials in every state, almost every state, I should say. Voters want something done when it comes to immigration, to the crisis on the southern border, and when it comes to the economy.
Yep.
The economy and immigration still today poll as the top issues among American voters. Voters want to see results. They want to see progress, right? This is, I believe, that whether or not President-elect Donald Trump can follow through on his campaign promises, Aaron, that is a separate matter, right? That is a different conversation. My point is voters have been very clear. That is what they care about. That is what they want to see happen. They want a better economy, and they want results when it comes to policies to deal with the southern border crisis.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is that we have seen over the last few years with the way that people come to this country. I think it was Governor Cox who said that every state is now a border state because it's not just crossing the border at Texas and Arizona at this point. There are a number of different ways that people come into the country and come illegally, and it does put a lot of strain on pretty much every state at this point. So it will be very interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Governor Cox, one of the other interesting things to happen recently over the last week or so is that Governor Cox called on the Trump administration to remove some of the obstacles to deportations in the state. Particularly, he called for the replacement of Salt Lake City's ICE director, Michael Bernanke, citing a bunch of credibility issues. So this is really interesting.
Well, let's talk about the political history here, Aaron. Walk us through that.
What's interesting about this is that Michael Bernanke is the person from ICE who has been assigned to Utah, and he's the one who basically stated that Utah was a sanctuary state. Now, this happened this last political cycle, or recently within the last couple of years, caused a lot of chaos because then Governor Cox had to spend a lot of time during his campaign saying, no, Utah's not a sanctuary state. And it was one of the things that he got hit on by his opponents a lot during that election process.
Yeah, definitely. And in this letter from Utah Governor Spencer Cox, I'll just read his words verbatim here. Quote, "We ask you to immediately transfer Michael Bernanke. Mr. Bernanke no longer has any credibility or good faith with the Cox administration or the larger Utah law enforcement community. An untenable situation at any time, but especially in this current crisis." End quote. Again, that is language from the letter sent by Utah Governor Spencer Cox to Salt Lake City's ICE leadership, calling for the transfer, the removal of Michael Bernanke.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. We talked a little bit in our segment with Representative Lisenby that there is overplay between what happens on the state side and what happens on the federal side with regard to immigration, particularly on the deportation side. And there's a limit to what states can do. And so, here we are. We're going to see
the politics, I believe, are just beginning here, Aaron.
Oh, I think so, too.
Yeah. Well, before we go to break, listeners, we wanted to remind you about the KSL News Radio app. You can listen to our show, Utah's Morning News, BYU sports games, and so much more. Plus, you can get breaking news notifications and push alerts. Download the KSL News Radio app for free right now. Just text the word app, APP, to 57500. Coming up in the second hour of Inside Sources, we are going to have a sit-down conversation with new Salt Lake County Council member Ross Romero. Stay right here.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shaleos. KSL's top story. A man who pleaded guilty for his role in a deadly Eagle Mountain road rage crash will face up to 10 years in prison. Peterson Matheson pleaded guilty to 2 counts of manslaughter in connection to the deaths of Rodney Salm and Misha Himmelberger on SR 73 in 2023. Rodney's brother, Peter Salm, tells KSL he feels justice has been served.
I have no ill will against anybody. It's a tragedy, and, we'd like to move forward.
Prosecutors say Matheson crashed into Salm's Porsche after fighting with another driver. Whether he will spend any time in prison will be decided in 90 days. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Congress has formalized the 2024 election results with Vice President Kamala Harris supervising the vote count.
I did what I have done my entire career, which is take seriously the oath that I have taken many times to support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
President-elect Trump is sworn into office in 2 weeks. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day on a down note after being in positive territory for most of the day, down 25 points, sitting at 42,707. S&P 500 up by 33. The NASDAQ, the big winner today, up by 1.25%, up 243 points. Well, the rain showers should be tapering off this afternoon. Check the forecast, and oh boy, we have some colder temperatures ahead as well. KSL News Time, 2:02.
Hi, Susan. We haven't seen or heard from you.
Cold.
We would like to locate Joyce.
The mysteries that made podcast history.
Cherie Warren disappeared.
Are now together for free at KSLPodcasts.com.
I'm Dave Cawley, the host of Cold. Join me for Season 1, The Susan Powell Case Files.
Season 2, Justice for Joyce, and Season 3, The Search for Cherie. Listen anytime for free at kslpodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ever have one of those days where your gut just feels blah?
Ugh, yes.
Occasional bloating or gas could be signs that your gut is out of balance, but Align Probiotic can help. Align 24/7 Digestive Support is a daily use probiotic with a unique strain to help relieve occasional digestive issues. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand. So when you feel the signs, it's time to try Align. Align Probiotic. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you're trying to decide which gutter protection to put on your home, don't just ask how they'll handle leaves. Ask how they'll handle ice. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and that's right, ice. See, plenty of gutter guards are good at keeping out leaves, but most are made with flimsy materials that can bend, buckle, and break under the weight of too much ice. Kind of a big problem in an icy state like Utah, right? At RGS Exteriors, our exclusive gutter protection systems are built Utah tough. They're made with premium strength materials that hold up to 1,200 pounds of ice per square foot. Simply put, they're not going to budge. Our gutter guards are also certified to handle hurricane-level winds and rain. Mother Nature can't damage them. Guaranteed. Utah Tough Products. That's the RGS way. For a free estimate, call 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's rgsexteriors.com or 801-280-3110.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by My Style Checking from Mountain America Credit Union. Here's Ricky Meese.
The final cleanup of an accident. This is on the exit ramp from northbound I-215's westbound at 2100 North. And in Tooele County, we have a crash that's been affecting multiple directions of travel at the intersection of Main Street, SR 36, and 10th North. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Showers tapering off this afternoon. Today's high 41. Right now, 39 degrees. I'm Maria Chaleos from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources. A new presidency, new state leaders, and a new legislative session. Utah's top political experts discuss the day's biggest stories. Only on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Inside Sources here on KSL News Radio. I am Taylor Morgan, partner at Morgan May Public Affairs, alongside Aaron Ryder, local attorney, and recently Republican nominee for Salt Lake County Mayor. Aaron, great show so far. We've had a lot to talk about. I am so excited now for this interview, this segment. Several new members have joined the Salt Lake County Council just this morning. They were sworn in. They took their oaths of office at the Mid-Valley Performing Arts Center in Taylorsville here in Salt Lake County. And so now we get to chat with a couple new members, brand new members of the Salt Lake County Council, just as they start officially the first day of their first term in office. Joining us now live in studio, none other than Ross Romero, newly representing Salt Lake County Council District 4, which covers the northeastern section of the county, parts of Salt Lake City, Mill Creek, Holiday, Murray, Cottonwood Heights. Ross has previously served in the Utah State Senate, where he was in the minority party leadership. He is no stranger to Utah politics. I'll just put it that way, listeners. If you've been involved in Utah politics for a little while, the name Ross Romero will not be new to you. Ross, thank you so much for being here in studio to join us. Congratulations on being sworn in to office today. Tell us, what do you hope to accomplish as you serve on the Salt Lake County Council?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for the invitation. It's nice to be here. I think that one of the things I hope to accomplish and to help facilitate is a relationship between the county and the state legislature. Having had experience up on the Hill, I think that there are some unique challenges that affect Salt Lake County, particularly around homelessness. Housing development is a concern across the state, but I think especially in Salt Lake County. So having these relationships to be able to address those with our state leaders, tell them about the challenges we're having, working collaboration are certainly things I hope to do and help work on.
Well, I am thrilled to have you here because you are now my new elected county council representative for District 4. I live in District 4. And you took over for Ann Granado, right, who'd been there for about a term and a half-ish. And so I'm curious, has she given you any advice as you head into this new assignment here?
You know, we have had informal discussions relative to kind of committee issues, and certainly she supported my effort in the campaign. But she's pretty good about letting people chart their own path. She, I think, was an independent voice for the community.
She was.
And I think that she would want me to take that also in representing the area, and I plan to. I mean, clearly we get elected by a party, and I'm very happy to represent the Democratic Party, let me be clear. But I also think that we serve the community and we serve the county. And even though I'm in a defined geography, I want to work on what we need in our county. So if it benefits the west side, and that's where the growth is occurring and that's where the needs are, then let's just do that.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? The partisan dynamic on the Salt Lake County Council, I think, is unique in a way. We have 5 members of one party, 4 of another, so there's a 1-vote majority there, right? We have seen, I think, at least in my opinion, a lot more bipartisanship in the Salt Lake County Council than, say, we would typically see in the state legislature. In the state legislature, of course, Democrats have a very, very slim minority, right? A more extreme minority on Utah's Capitol Hill than they would, say, on the county council. But that, I guess, bipartisanship or the collegiality, so to speak, on the county council, why do you think that exists? And how will that impact your service, do you think?
Yeah. Well, and the state legislature has many different voices, and they represent rural Utah, urban. Some districts are small. And, for instance, in Salt Lake School District, we talk about class size. Well, to a rural legislator, they don't have a challenge with class size. They have a challenge with transportation to get their students to the classroom.
That's a good point, yeah.
So in Salt Lake County, I think there's going to be more uniformity in the issues that are affecting us in the county. I think that will lend itself to kind of more collaboration, maybe a little less partisanship in the geographies we represent. I also think that because we're close in numbers, that tends to be easier to, work across the aisle. You only have to convince 1 or 2 others on the other side, no matter which side, to be in the majority. I also think, having a county mayor that is a Democrat also helps put some parameters a little bit around any majority on the Republican side. And so I think, I'm really looking forward to this opportunity to serve in this way and with this council. To the person, they're great. They're excited about getting to work and serving the community.
Now you have, let's see, so this morning all of the county newly elected officials were sworn in, and there are, 3 brand new members of the county council, is that right?
That's right.
And so how do you think the dynamics of the county council are going to change with, a bunch of new voices? I mean, 3 out of 9 is a full third change to the county council.
It is. I expect that you'll see, new agendas, new initiatives. Interestingly enough, one of my new colleagues, Carlos Moreno, is a Latino, and Natalie Pinckney, African-American woman. And so I think, the diversity on the council is unique and different. I think the communities that maybe we have affiliated with and participated in and social settings are also going to be different. And so educating each other, educating the community, bringing these voices to the, providing services to the county, I think will be neat. But, ultimately, again, we care about, how is our county health facilities operating?
Yeah.
Are we providing needed services throughout
Definitely.
the
And I want to ask you, on that note, that's a great segue. We know that the public safety bond that was championed by Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson. It was also supported in a bipartisan fashion by the Salt Lake County Council. Voters rejected that public safety bond on the November ballot. There, as we know, there are serious, persistent issues in Salt Lake County with public safety, with crime, with recidivism, with homelessness. These are real serious issues. But following the voters' rejection of that public safety bond, what is the Salt Lake County Council going to do to address these issues going forward?
It's a great question, and I think we were all expecting to have those resources, both physical and financial. I'm not sure exactly where the leadership of the existing county council had wanted to go and what we'll decide as a group. We have our first meeting tomorrow. Obviously, these are going to be pressing issues. I do understand that there are funds where there are funds at the county that can be allocated to some of these needed services. So I suspect we'll be looking in internal operations and through some cost savings and moving money between accounts to shore up the facilities we have.
Yeah.
Now, just as we kind of get close to wrapping up here, what would you like residents in Salt Lake County to know or to do as you come into office here? I think, one thing I found during my campaign was that a lot of people had no idea what the county government did. And so you have a little bit of an opportunity with the blank slate here to start from scratch. So what do you hope residents in Salt Lake County, particularly in your district, do or, come to the table with?
Well, I'll say this. The district that I represent is really engaged civically and politically, and I think that's so incredibly important. I would hope that we have community conversations and invite others into the policy community conversation about what we need to do as a county. We're only going to be able to represent people if we hear from them, if there's more people engaged, if we encourage people to vote. So civic participation, I think, across our county is going to be important, and I really hope to encourage people to do that.
Yeah. Great. Well, Ross Romero, Salt Lake County Council member, District 4, newly sworn in council member, thank you so much for taking time to join us in studio today here at KSL News Radio. We will have you back soon to keep us updated on everything happening in the Salt Lake County Council. Coming up next on Inside Sources, ski patrollers in Park City are making national news as they strike for a pay raise. The strike is causing long lines and waits at Park City Ski Resort, and it's impacting other resorts as well. We're going to talk about that coming up next.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, Hurry! We need more balloons!
On it!
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing selection, convenience, and exceptional service. 4 locations: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Ford Truck Country. All dedicated to delivering you the best auto experience anywhere. Looking for your first car? Maybe you want rugged power or the stylish ride of your dreams. New or used. See it all at PerformanceBountiful.com. PerformanceBountiful.com.
Boy, right after the holidays, everyone needs a little cash, right?
Oh, yes.
We have great news for you. Right now, UCCU, Utah Community Credit Union, will pay you for your auto loan and credit balances. So all you have to do is just transfer your auto loan or your credit card balance to UCCU. And on top of giving you a low interest rate, which will save you money, UCCU will give you 1% cash back up to $250 on every loan you transfer.
Amanda, as soon as I heard about this, I said, I'm in this exact situation. I actually had to have 2 loans to get my car a year ago.
Yeah.
Long story. Got it consolidated into one, and they paid me 1% back for each thing. I've got 1 payment now instead of 2. It's so much easier, and it took me maybe basically an hour. I just went straight to the website. I applied. They said, you got to send me these documents. I did, and all of a sudden, within a couple of days, I had it all set.
This is how easy they are to work with, always looking for ways to help you and your family. You can find out more on the UCCU mobile banking app or just go to uccu.com/transfer. Utah Community Credit Union. You're going to love where you bank.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Inside Sources. I'm Erin Ryder here with Taylor Morgan. We've kind of been all over the place today as we've been talking about a bunch of different topics. And today, in this segment, we're going to go a little bit astray again. We're going to talk about Park City Ski Patrol. Now, the Park City Mountain Ski Patrols are entering their 10th day of striking. If you have not been paying attention to this, this is a really interesting story. What they're demanding is a $2 an hour raise. An X account called LiftBlog caught the scene over the weekend as skiers, not the striking ski patrol members, skiers, shouted while waiting in line.
Pay your employees! Pay your employees!
So let's talk about this. Now, let's set the stage here for a second. I am a tried and true Park City skier. I've skied at Park City pretty much my entire life. My dad and my brother were on ski patrol at Park City for about 15 years when I was growing up. My dad was actually one of the very first people to ski at Park City when it opened as a resort 60 plus years ago. But Taylor, on the other hand, you're an Alta guy.
Yeah.
And I think you have some strong feelings about this.
Well, let's refresh this audio. Can we play that audio clip again and listen to what these skiers in line are shouting, right? Again, these aren't ski patrollers, right? You mentioned, Aaron.
No, these are just skiers.
These are skiers
These are
in
guests.
line at Park City Mountain Resort. Let's listen.
Pay your employees! Pay your employees!
Okay, so setting the scene here, the lift lines at Park City Mountain Resort throughout the holidays have been long. And long,
Terrible.
Long is an
Terrible.
understatement. We're
Yeah.
talking 3 to 4 hours long, waiting in line
I have
to
not
get...
gone skiing yet because of this.
And they look terrible. You can just Google online. You can find images of these lines. Now, here's the side I want to take on this, Aaron. These skiers chanting, pay your employees more, okay? These are all very privileged individuals, I think it is safe to say, because all of them have paid the very premium, high price to get a day pass or have a season pass at one of the country's most expensive ski resorts. Do you know how much it costs for a one-day lift ticket to ski Park City during the holidays?
I do, but I don't think our listeners do.
$328 for an adult one-day pass to ski Park City during the holidays. So these individuals who are chanting in support of a $2 an hour pay raise for the ski patrollers, right? They come from a very privileged background. I think that is safe to say. Now, that's painting with a broad brush. I get it. I'm stereotyping these individuals. But Aaron, I also have a hard time feeling sympathetic for a few reasons about this strike.
Yeah, I want to hear this because I'm already disagreeing with you.
Look, and this is I have no issues with the ski industry. I've worked at a ski resort in my younger days. I can't do it right now, Aaron, because I have 2 kids and I need to provide a real income and I need to have a real job. That's why I don't work as a ski patroller, okay? Now, I appreciate
Still
them.
disagreeing over
They
here.
work really, really hard. I'm a huge fan of everyone who works at ski resorts, who works the lifts, who works on ski patrol, okay? But it is not a job that is intended to provide enough income to live in Park City, I would say, of all places. You can't live in Park City on a ski patroller salary. I don't think that will ever be realistic. And if you can't afford it now, getting paid $2 an hour more isn't going to help you with that. So I understand the issues. I understand the anger about waiting in 3 hours to get on a lift. But go somewhere else, everybody. I don't know, Aaron.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
Let's just take a step back here, because before the show started, you were complaining that all of the people who didn't want to stand in line at Park City were now going to the other
just
resorts.
don't come
in
to
town.
Alta. Go anywhere else except for Alta, because that's where I am trying to ski.
Well, all right. So let's take a step back here again. So we said already that what the patrollers are demanding is a $2 increase in their hourly base wage. Now, Vail has already said that it has increased patrollers' wages by more than 50% over the past 4 seasons. Currently, that base wage is $21 an hour. The patrollers want it to go up to $23 an hour. Now, do you know what it takes to be a ski patroller?
I do.
It is an intense job. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I watched my dad and my brother do this for years.
Yeah.
You are responsible for health and safety of skiers on the mountain. And it's a high intensity sport. There are a lot of things that happen on that mountain, and you have to know a lot about first aid, emergency response, all that kind of stuff to be able to do that job well. Park City currently pays their patrollers lower than a lot of the other resorts in the area. I don't think it's unrealistic or unfair for these patrollers to want to be paid a competitive market rate for the largest resort in the country.
Sure.
I think that's perfectly appropriate.
Well,
and if they don't strike, clearly Vail has clearly there have been discrepancies here about what Vail is willing to pay them.
Yeah.
If they don't do something like this, I mean, sometimes you do it to get attention, right? And
I think that's exactly it. That's the point, and I guess that's where perhaps I disagree, and I don't feel sympathy for the ski patrollers at Park City, because as much as I respect the profession in the industry, there's a reason why I don't spend my summers as a lifeguard at the local county rec center. It's because it doesn't pay enough, Aaron. Now, if these ski patrollers are striking because other nearby resorts pay more, then why didn't they get a job at those resorts before they signed on to work at Park City for the season.
But I think that's overly simplistic, Taylor.
They are intentionally targeting the timing of this strike during the holidays to have the maximum impact when it comes to damaging their
Absolutely,
employer Vail,
because
right?
that's your leverage.
Exactly right. But now that we are past the holiday crunch, I believe they have lost. Now, again, Vail, I'm no fan of Vail in this sense. Their stock has taken a hit because
Vail's
of this,
stock
right?
has taken a real hit because of this,
But-
and their leadership has taken a real hit as well.
So just the politics, though, of a labor strike at this time during the holidays in the state of Utah, Aaron, I just don't understand where these ski patrollers thought this would go. I don't understand why they thought this would be effective. Or in a state like Utah, right, an employment at will state, these kind of efforts by employees are very rarely successful.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you feel like your concerns are not being met, part of the reason why my dad and my brother no longer do ski patrol is because Vail came in, bought the resort, and got rid of the volunteer patrol and moved it to a paid, kind of more permanent patrol.
Interesting. That's a good point. Do we think not having that volunteer component of the ski patrol is having a negative impact on access to patrollers? Is that
potentially?
a problem?
That is something that certainly was talked about in the patroller community when Vail came in and made that decision. That was one of the reasons why we spent so much time skiing at Park City, because there were benefits to that. Just like you said, right? It may not be financially viable to be a patroller as your full-time job.
Yeah.
However, with the volunteer patrol, they would offer passes to your family or things like other types of benefits that allowed you, for both the hosts and the patrollers, so your family could go up and ski, and that was how you paid for your ski passes. It was a really great deal and a great way to go.
Yeah.
Getting rid of that volunteer patrol, I think, lost Vail a lot of goodwill in the community, which is why I am not particularly sympathetic to Vail in this.
Yeah.
And I am excited about what the patrollers are doing, because Vail has not been the best partner, in my opinion, since they've come in and taken over that resort.
I didn't know you were a pro-labor union type attorney, Aaron. I thought you were more of a conservative, but listen, I appreciate that perspective.
Hey, you know what? I was endorsed by one of our local union groups during my election.
Well, I stand corrected. Despite my lack of sympathy towards ski patrollers, we should point out that Park City Mountain Resort has changed their tune a little bit lately, Aaron, as the strike has moved forward.
Yeah.
A new statement posted just today, Monday, January 6th, on their website states, quote, "We are opening the terrain that is safe to open based on the team members we have. Please expect some operational impacts from the ongoing strike." They have stated that they are in bargaining, they're in conversations, they hope to achieve a resolution.
Yeah, it will be an interesting thing to watch as we go forward. So, and just kind of on that note, make sure that you're taking KSL with you wherever you go on the KSL News Radio app. On our app, you can listen live to KSL, listen to your on demand to your favorite KSL podcasts like Inside Sources, where we talk about things like this. And then you also get the push notifications when big things happen. It's free. Download it today and start using it. Just text the word app, APP, to 575-500. And next on Inside Sources, we're going to talk to another new member of the Salt Lake County Council who was just sworn into office this morning. Natalie Pinckney is going to be joining us after the break.
Good afternoon, 2:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. KSL's top local story, the sales tax for the downtown revitalization plan in Salt Lake City is officially in place, and support for a new sports and entertainment district is growing. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla here.
63% of Utah adults support the upgrade to the Sports and Entertainment District. A poll from the Deseret News and the Hinckley Institute found that a big chunk of that support is coming from Utah and Davis County, with 66% and 70% of residents respectively. The 0.5% sales tax only applies to the project area. It's about 100 acres around 500 West and West Temple, and South Temple to 200 South.
The sales tax is expected to generate $900 million for the development of the district. KSL News Time 2:31, our top national story from ABC News. The U.S. now has its first fatal case of bird flu.
Well, bird flu case numbers in the U.S. have been rising. Most of the cases have been mild. Louisiana was the first to report a serious case of bird flu and now is the first to report a death. It was in a person who had been hospitalized with avian flu or bird flu. The person was over the age of 65 and had underlying health issues. That patient got bird flu after being around a backyard flock and wild birds.
That's ABC's Alex Stone. Your money at this moment. Mixed market, the Dow down 26 points, while the S&P 500 was up 33. KSL News Time 2:31, and coming up, snowflakes and drizzle. They're part of the picture, but when? KSL weather is next. It's 2:32.
You might not consider yourself a tech expert, but that doesn't mean you can't protect yourself from online scammers with a little help from McAfee Total Protection. Whether it's a fake missed delivery text or an urgent bank alert, these scams can look incredibly convincing. That's where McAfee Total Protection steps in. So go ahead, manage your finances, and shop online. McAfee will help keep your device's privacy and identity safer. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 your first year. That's McAfee.com/online protection. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
Where can you kick off the new year with big savings on gig speed? Only with Xfinity. Now through January 16th, get gig internet at home for $25 a month for 1 year when you add an unlimited mobile line, which connects you with gig speed Wi-Fi on the road. Act fast today and save more than $650 over AT&T and Verizon in your first year. Plus, hurry and take advantage because right now you can also get a free 5G phone with trade-in. So save big and stay connected to what you love with fast gig speed internet and mobile from home to hotspots. This new year, it's all about gig speeds and big savings. Don't wait and get gig speed internet, spend less green, and switch to Xfinity. Go to Xfinity.com/gig savings to learn more. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes and fees extra. $40 internet discount applied to mobile bill after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon Fiber Gig Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line and AT&T Fiber Gig Plus One Unlimited Starter Line. Xfinity internet required reduced speeds after 30 gigabytes of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual speeds vary.
Fall in love with your home comfort this season and save money too. A $29 heating system tune-up from Yes Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric is the best way to ensure your HVAC system is operating at top efficiency. Boost your comfort and help prevent expensive breakdowns by calling the experts at Yes today for your $29 heating system tune-up. Trust the pros at Yes to keep your family comfortable. Call now or visit theyesmancan.com for details, terms, and conditions.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by My Style Checking from Mountain America Credit Union. Here's Ricky Meese.
We still have a good-looking drive on the Valley freeways with the cleanup that still is taking place from an earlier accident on the ramp from northbound of the West Belt at 2100 North. All clear on SR 36 Main Street at 10th North in Tooele. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, maybe some rain or snow this afternoon, but no accumulation expected for the valley floor. Same story overnight, then tomorrow sunshine and 38. Right now, a soggy 39 degrees. I'm Jeff Kaplan from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources. A new presidency, new state leaders, and a new legislative session. Utah's top political experts discuss the day's biggest stories. Only on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to Inside Sources. This is Taylor Morgan alongside Aaron Ryder. Aaron, a couple segments ago, we had the pleasure of having a conversation with one of our newest members of the Salt Lake County Council, Ross Romero. Now we are so excited to be joined in studio live here by another brand new member of the Salt Lake County Council, Natalie Pinckney. You were just sworn in, I believe, just today. Tell us, what was that like?
It was amazing. We gathered this morning at the Mid-Valley Performing Arts Center in Taylorsville. Myself, along with Ross and the fellow council members who were newly elected, re-elected, and independent elected officers. We had Doug Wright, moderate our inauguration performances by Magna Elementary Choir, and it was really awesome. I got to share some words. They got me a street sign, says Pinckney Place. It looks like
I love it. That's
street.
Great.
So that's really cool.
How can I get one of those?
Yeah, that's
I know,
worth
right?
the entire
You
campaign.
think as a new member of the Salt Lake County Council, Natalie Pinckney, I might be reaching out offline to see if I can get myself one of those. That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah,
But-
maybe I'll talk to Public Works, see if there's like a small side business I can run or something.
There you go.
But that was really great. And then I gave some remarks and just, shared thankfulness, gratitude, but also shared some really lessons of the campaign and really wanted to, send a message to my fellow independent electeds, the staff member of Salt Lake County, but most importantly, the voters, and let them understand that I'm ready to be your voice and your ears.
Well, speaking of your campaign, of course, your race was one of the biggest races in Salt Lake County and even in the state of Utah in the November election, of course. You are now stepping in to fill the seat that was held by Jim Bradley, longtime member of the Salt Lake County Council, at-large member. So rather than representing one district or one portion of the county, as Ross Romero does now, you were elected to represent the county at large. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about why that is so significant?
Yes, so there are 9 council members on the county council, 6 districts, 3 at large, and we represent the entire county, the whole entire population, 1.2 million residents, and that's really a great opportunity for residents to know that they have representation that they can reach out to, not just your district rep, but you can also reach out to 3 at-large members. And for the first time in Salt Lake County history, they're all women. So yay,
That's exciting. Yeah.
So it's really exciting, but it's a really big magnitude about the growth of the county, right? We know that Salt Lake County is a hot commodity. We have a reality TV show popping up. People are starting to understand the beauty of our valley and of our mountains. And so we really need good leaders, especially at large, who understand the scope of that. And I came from South Salt Lake City Council, so I understand how the county works with the cities, can be a friend or a foe. And I want to be a partner. I want to talk about how can we do better and not do the opposite.
Well, and you talked a little bit about sharing thoughts this morning from the election. I'd be curious to know, what coming out of this election, you campaigned really hard, you worked really hard. What are some of the things that you learned from voters, some of the experiences that you had during the campaign that are going to inform the way that you walk into this new role?
Really learned from voters that, they don't really know the power of their neighborhood. That's kind of what came out for me, even though Salt Lake County can't tell your neighborhood exactly how to go because, your city is a partner in that. But I even think about my little neighborhood of South Salt Lake, on the corner is an elementary school and then there's single family homes. I'm in a condo next to the Jordan River, which is next to a county park. And that's my little neighborhood. And if there is an issue of crime or safety or wanting to expand a park, I'm going to rely on my city council and my mayor, but I'm also going to rely on the county council as, a resource with not just funds, what a lot of people think about, but also there's just a lot of programs and there's a lot of great knowledge about how we all collectively as a county can move forward. Because I think sometimes we get a little siloed in our cities, and I would like to kind of see that come together. And when you're on the campaign, you think that people in Sandy don't feel the same as the folks in the avenues, and I've had the same conversation at the door.
Yeah.
People are frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to talk about diversity a little bit.
Yeah.
Because all 3 new members of the Salt Lake County Council, Ross Romero, yourself, Carlos Moreno, are all represent, whether it's the Latino community, yourself is a Black woman. Yeah. Why is diversity significant, and how is that going to impact the Salt Lake County Council? Because this county council, in terms of representing different minority groups or representing women, as you mentioned, all 3 at-large seats held by women, how is that going to impact, do you think, the leadership in the Salt Lake County Council going forward?
I'm excited about this council. I think it's a true representation of Salt Lake County. And I've said this for I guess a decade now. Wow, it's scary to say that out loud, but that Salt Lake County, I think, is a microcosm of what happens nationally. I think if you turn on CNN or Fox News, what they're talking about, I've talked about at the local level. And with us three joining as, people of color, and then having now 5 women and 4 men, that's representative of this young state that we're in, this entrepreneur state that we're in.
Yeah.
Women who are talking about a tradition of, you used to think Utah women were this way. Here are some reality shows that tell you don't know a thing about Utah women.
And we know that reality shows are very indicative.
Well,
I mean, right? Yeah, I know.
say-
Obviously, it's not, but there, it's talking about you can't just put Salt Lake County in a box, right? And I think
Yeah.
Salt Lake County showed that in 2002 with the Winter Olympics. That's why we're excited for it to come back in 2034. And this is a council that's represented of about that world stage that we're going to be on. And at that world stage, it is diversity.
Yeah.
We're a diverse place. We've always been a diverse place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and as the one guy in the room, can I point out how cool I think it is that the Salt Lake County Council is led by women?
Mm-hmm.
The Utah legislature, we know, is now consists of 30% of our lawmakers are women. We have a long way to go. We know that about 56% of all active registered voters in both major parties are women.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of active voters in Utah are women, yet women have been dramatically underrepresented in public office, especially at the state legislature.
Yeah.
That is not the case on the Salt Lake County Council, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
And we need that. It says, I think, it takes a woman you have to ask her 6 or 7 times, over and over again. And the first time you ask a woman if she wants to run for office, she'll laugh in your face. And I'll guarantee that happens about 99% of the time, so much that it happened to me. And I was recruiting other women. That's what's so funny. I was recruiting other women to run for office. And as I was recruiting I made a Facebook post. And I was like, if you're a woman that has all these qualities, let me know. And then someone goes, I heard you're recruiting women. I know someone who should run for office. And I was like, who? And they go, you. And I laughed.
There you go. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it just happened to me,
Yep.
And I think I'm excited for Salt Lake County to be that example. And I think, this year we had more women join our state house, and I think it's going to keep coming.
Now, you mentioned that you just recently stepped down from your position on the South Salt Lake City Council.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know, and I think our listeners would love to know, what are some of your number one priority coming into the county council? Maybe how has your experience on the city council influenced that?
Yeah, at the city level, I think that's where, again, my passion of neighborhoods just came in, and I got on city council. I'm a big door knocker. I like knocking doors, and, I know a lot of the residents in South Salt Lake, and homelessness and housing is really the top issue. And it's a top issue at the city level, at the county level, at the national level. It's just the top issue, and they go hand in hand. So I want to be partners with cities and say, let's find land. I want to buy a shovel and start digging. I don't know if I can, but I want to get to work. And then I think with homelessness, how do we make sure we don't do what we know doesn't work? And then how do we make sure we're innovative, but not too innovative, that we're a case study for a failure? And we have to balance both the short term of what people don't want to see and the long term of what people don't want to pay. Yeah. And I think that is a delicate balance. And I really want to bring more transparency to that, because if you want this, it costs something.
Yeah.
And right now, cost is top of line for people. And I talked about financial empowerment a lot on the campaign trail. I created Financial Empowerment Center in South Salt Lake. We work with, nonprofits and for-profits to have workshops and one-on-one counseling. How can we get more of those resources in our community so that people not only understand their own financial wealth, but also understand how the county works, understands how their city works, and then together we can solve these problems.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us in person here in studio. Salt Lake County Council Member at Large, Natalie Pinckney, newly sworn in, day 1. It starts now. Thank you so much for being here, taking some time out of your day. We will have you back very soon.
Thank you.
To keep us and our listeners updated on everything happening in the Salt Lake County Council. So in our final segment on today's Inside Sources, Aaron, do you ever get the January blues? The holidays are over. The fun is past. Back in school, back to real life in the routine. How do we survive January mentally and emotionally? We're going to talk about that coming up next.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and switch to the expensive shampoo with amino acids. Sure, you don't know what those are or why you need them, but it sounds very impressive. And if you switch and save hundreds, you can massage it into your scalp every day. Now, if only you can get people to lean toward your head to smell those aminos. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shampoo, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. Every day, ZipRecruiter helps people who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you find yourself avoiding family photos or feeling self-conscious among friends because of your smile, you're not alone. Many people face these challenges due to missing or broken teeth or painful dentures. But there's hope. Rediscover the joy of a full, healthy smile with Stubbs Dental Implant Center, Utah's Best of State winner. At Stubbs Dental, they deeply understand the emotional impact of missing teeth. It's not just about your smile. It's about feeling confident and embracing life fully. Their team of experts transform lives with dental implants, one beautiful smile at a time. Picture yourself not just looking, but feeling your best, confidently participating in family photos and laughing freely with friends. Join the thousands of people who have trusted Stubbs Dental for their dental implants, rediscovering not just their smile, but their self-confidence. And the best part, finding out if you're eligible for dental implants is easy. Visit StubbsDental.com and in just 60 seconds, you could be on your way to a life-changing smile. That's StubbsDental.com.
My daughter, she's 2. My wife, Meriden, we did it together because we want to be around a long time for her.
Every single day, people are losing weight and keeping it off with Soda Weight Loss, improving their health, their quality of life.
I would recommend this program to anybody. Anybody can do it.
For the month of January, Soda Weight Loss is offering a new client partner program. Join with a partner, a friend, someone you love for the cost of one.
Tried everything from fasting to every diet. Kept hearing about Soda Weight Loss. So what they did was give me a plan to lose the weight. It came with a nutritionist, it came without drugs or pills or shots or side effects.
What are you waiting for? Get started with Soda Weight Loss right now with a partner and only pay for one.
Do you know how good